I see all of you dressed head to toe in robes, looking exactly the same side by side next to people who may be immensely different than you, who applied and received a violet envelope that brought you here. Tears and laughs, papers and drafts, class on Zoom, attending college from our rooms, COVID tests, the best of our moments happened unexpectedly. We were brought to a campus, a city that was asking and imploring us who we are and what we will do, and in exploring the answer, we began our journey. Taking classes, learning about human rights and ethics and history and climate change, papers and lectures, page after page, analyzing text, we flew through classes that made up the next 4 years as NYU students. A few days into college, and we felt invincible, unstoppable, experiencing the knowledge of the globe in our classroom. We try and retry, we create and recreate, we learn and unlearn, turned by events that we would have never expected, tested by a world with complex problems that require complex solutions. Global studies tells us to take our classroom into the world, and a classroom means the world when your students are tuning in from across it. Whether it was an array of chairs spread 6 feet apart or a collection of stairs through a screen, we truly learned what it means to be one campus in one world. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that we don't need a rubric or an outline to how we define what we want the world to look like after this. Because a refugee looks for a home, a child seeks education, a nation recovers from war, a city pours their anger into racial injustice, and we are trusted to prepare in our classrooms because education is indeed the passport to the future, but it's up to us to book the flight. And as we are leaving this campus that we have called home for so long and weaving our way into a larger world, we are walking into countries that are changing, a society that's rearranging, and the problems we'll be facing may seem nothing short of frustrating. But if there's one thing we're taking away from our experience, it's the ability to use our imagination. Unencumbered, unrestricted, determined in the pursuit of change, because for far too long, studies of the globe have forgotten a whole half of it. So as we move on with this certificate, I want you to promise me that we will be passionate and persistent, we will be advocates and show resistance. From Ukraine to Palestine, we will remind ourselves that far too often voices get lost in our textbooks and curriculum. So as we cross this stage, we take our imagination with us into a world that so desperately needs it, breaking boundaries and rethinking the systems and institutions that we've been a part of for so long. As we walk out, the sight of a city before our eyes reminds us that we are so unstoppable, yet so small, all at the same time. But the key, my friends, is imagination. A great man once said, "You may believe you are a small entity, but within you is the entire universe." And our time at NYU has taught us exactly that. And so I implore you to understand what this means now. We have gone through so much, and I can promise you there is so much more to come. 4 years of building a toolbox that is now ready to be used, improved, and viewed by the world. It's time to pour the universe inside of us into the work that we do. As a child of 2 immigrants, I am ready, as I hope you all are, ready to think of a world as we travel and change and imagine and read, a world where we will get that green light that Gatsby once dreamed of, we will achieve those dreams that Martin would speak of, we will create that change that we are in need of. As we commence into this next chapter, we intensely rethink our systems and our institutions and find solutions to the most abstract problems by using our imagination. We think of a world where equity, accessibility, and equality are not anomalies. Rather, they are part of the visions we see and the truths we believe. Let us look at today as not the beginning of the end, but the end of the beginning. So as we leave NYU, I remember those first few days, feeling unstoppable, invincible, finally visible in a world that is finally mine and finally ours. I ask myself and you all those same questions. What does engaging with the world mean as we take our lessons with us? Imagine the craziest answer, the wildest dreams, the boundaries you want to break and the places you want to find, the risks you want to take, and make the stars in your universe align. Prepare yourself for the struggles you want to face and embrace them, because now is our time. Class of 2022, as we commence, we've brought the world to our classroom. Now let's bring the classroom to our world and reimagine it in any way that we want and make it ours. Thank you.